everyone, Meredith Molinari back here live from the PlayStation exhibit hall, and I am super excited to have Rex Crowle with me, lead designer on Tearaway. Now,
Hi.
as any of you guys know who are fans of mine, I'm a huge fan of the PlayStation Vita. So I have to ask you, what was your original inspiration behind like the paper craft visual style of Tearaway?
So we wanted to have something that's very tactile, like build a world that you could really feel, like actually under your fingerprints as you're like tapping on the screen. You're getting reactions, you're seeing it flex and bend, and paper just felt like the ideal way to really like bring that out and just have all kinds of like really novel interactions and see like a very dynamic world that's changing all of the time, like unfolding and kind of like a pop-up book, but just fleshed out into a whole adventure game that you're just traveling through and just seeing this crazy world.
Now, the little messenger buddy, Iota, is that his name?
That's right. Yeah.
So, talk to me about some of the ways you get to directly interact with the Vita through with Iota.
Okay, so we want to focus a lot on the back touch. So we've got some. I mean, you've got some quite crazy stuff happening here, where my face is like peering into the game. This is all of the start opening section where we're kind of playing with the intersection between the game world and the real world. So in just 1 second, So here's Iota. They're running around. They've got all kinds of problems here. You can see that this paper here is a little bit thinner. You can see my fingers moving around. So if I just reach in with the back touch and see my finger come in, so I can have multiple ones, start moving them around. And maybe I'll start trying to take out some of these enemies that are scaring poor little Iota around. Flip them up in the air. And as I'm pushing in, you can see the lovely PlayStation blue carpet coming up through the floor there.
So it's incorporating both touchscreen and augmented reality and the camera as well.
Yep, the camera's there too. It's all to set up this like relationship between little Iota in the game and me on the outside, and just trying to get this bond between the two of us. Iota's got a little message in their head. You know, they've got this message.
Now, is the message
envelope.
unique to every person or every time you play the game?
It's unique to every person, but you know, if you play the game slightly differently, maybe you'll get something different as well. So,
very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I know that there are some Wendigos for him to deal with, right?
Right, yeah.
So he strikes me as more of a lover, not a fighter. How does he, is there combat in it?
We're not focusing mainly on combat. We're trying to be have more kind of creative ways to help characters in the game by providing them with doing your own papercraft, cutting stuff out, just helping them along the way on this journey through the world.
So he does more of evading the enemies than necessarily slaying them.
I mean, a lot of it is about how you interact with the environment, because the environment is so dynamic and things are folding and unfolding, and you've got all of these different powers to exert on it. It's more like you're acting as a protector of them than necessarily getting in and running everything through with a sword or something.
Exactly.
But you can run them through with an enormous finger.
Right, which is great.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And as you're going around, you're picking up little pieces of confetti, and that's what you collect to then unlock more customizations and be able to do more crafting inside of the game world.
Great. So when you're in the game world and you're interacting with Iota, does he have another buddy that travels with him, or are you kind of just one-on-one with him?
I mean, mostly it's just him on his own. There's also the female version of Toi, if you've chosen her. I mean, they're not in the game at the same time. It's a single-player game, but and obviously we make very much you, the human player, be part of this story. It's very much like a buddy movie between the two of you and working together and.
And that, I think, was one of the things that I love so much about Little Big Planet on Vita, which is one of my favorite titles to play. Are there any similarities between this title for Tearaway and Little Big Planet?
I think the similarities in that we're still trying to very much focus. The Media Molecule really wants to create creative gaming. Where every player feels that they can add to the experience. For this title, it's not about level creation, but as you're traveling through the world and helping people out, that then unlocks papercraft, so that you can go onto the website, which is just keeping updated with all your progress, and print out all the PDF plans of all of the creatures that you've
So you
met.
can actually then create the creatures in real life that
Exactly.
you've actually had in the game.
Yeah, totally.
That's so fun.
It's kind of like having physical trophies, you know?
Yeah.
So like, you know, this whole studio could all be like full of little things that you've all
I love that.
found throughout your adventure. So.
Now, will there be any type of customization or for the user experience? I know you said there isn't going to be a level editor, but is there other customizable things like in the way Little Big Planet had?
Yeah, I mean, you customize creatures that you meet, you take photos for them, you know, you're adding a lot of different textures into the game. As this is the start, you know, all the interactions here are to do with the fingertip and showing off that kind of very unique mechanic. Lots of physics, got someone stuck on the screen there, we just pop them.
Now, what is this gauge we're looking at over here on the right? That's your confetti gauge?
That's right, yeah. So as that fills up, every time it reaches the maximum, then it sort of crumples up and becomes a new customizable element for you to be able to use in the little creative challenges that you have along the way. I'll just spin that around.
Oh, neat. Now, I was reading a little bit online that there is a sort of a maybe subtle environmental message behind Tearaway. Can you talk a little bit on that?
I don't know if I would necessarily say that, but we're really celebrating a very kind of rural, natural world, mainly because it's just so much more interesting to make in papercraft. You know, building cities is all kind of straight edges, whereas for this more natural look, we just make sure everything unpeels a little bit, and you know, it's just more interesting to try and make a tree out of paper. And it's like a weird like logic thing going on. It's like the tree is made out of paper and the paper is made out of trees, and yeah, it's crazy.
Kind of like goes in and out and in and out.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah. In this next area,
I love
just
the colors.
Just see a few more characters. You have these little gopher characters which we can pick up and throw around, and we have lots of the sort of physics simulation that you'd expect from you know, LBP, but in a more open environment, so that you can you know, kind of just play with them a lot more and learn the various behaviours.
Now, are there certain challenges you have to complete in each of the things, or is it more just like a playground, wander around and have fun?
Well, we're trying to get like a good balance between like open spaces to, you know, just experiment like this sort of playground area, and then like more tighter areas that are more challenging. Here you can see as I tilt the Vita, it's just glinting a little bit. This is where I can use front touch to open areas of the scenery up. So front and back touch is all used. You can tap on the scenery and just see how things squash down under your fingerprint.
Yeah.